Mega Man on the Nintendo eShop, and that means the Blue Bombers handheld adventures are on their way to the North American 3DS Virtual Console. So get ready for the Game Boy ports of Mega Man 2, 3, 4, 5, and of course the Mega Man Xtreme games from the Game Boy Color. The Game Boy versions are actually quite different from their NES counterparts. So for example, if you're used to Pharaoh Man's NES level, that doesn't mean you're necessarily ready for the Game Boy equivalent. Levels have been reimagined, weaving pieces you remember with moments created specifically for this version. And even areas that are lifted from the originals have tiny extra touches. Notice the animated leaves in Snake Man's level, for instance. Speaking of Snake Man, bosses and abilities are also pulled from various sources, so you get unique situations like Mega Man 2 with sliding and the rush coil, or Mega Man 3 featuring Skull, Dust, and Dive Man. It takes a minute to wrap your head around it if you're super familiar with the originals, but this mixture of bosses and abilities makes the experience remarkably different. And then there's Mega Man 4, a true fan favorite. Here we see the story ramp up with animated cutscenes and the debut of the currency and shop system that would go on to become a series staple. But despite these major additions to the series, our favorite thing in Mega Man 4 is the new Mega Buster kickback. Every time you fire, the little guy is pushed back by the force of the blast. It's a very cute but very cool touch. That brings us to Mega Man 5, a game no Mega Man fan should be without. This all-new adventure introduces deadly star droids, not robot masters, as the villains. And they're so strong Dr. Light has to replace the Mega Buster with the Mega Arm, a new weapon that blasts Mega Man's entire fist across the screen. Later on, the Mega Arm can rack up multiple hits against enemies and even grab items that are otherwise out of reach. That makes Mega Man 5 a completely new experience with all new levels, music, enemies, bosses, abilities, cutscenes. You get the idea. This is one you should definitely check out. The Game Boy Mega Man series also brought us the Mega Man Killers, robots Dr. Wily made with the specific purpose of offing the Blue Bomber. But in the end, they all fall to Mega Man and give up their signature weapons, Inker's Mirror Buster, Punk's Screw Crusher, and Ballad's Cracker. And while he doesn't really count as a Mega Man killer, Quint does briefly appear in Mega Man 2 and 5 as a unique boss. We'll let you look him up. Moving far into the future of the Megaverse, we arrive at Mega Man Xtreme 1 and 2. They, like the previous Game Boy games, mix elements of various X games into a new package. Xtreme 1, for example, contains Mavericks from the 16-bit X1 and X2, while Xtreme 2 adds a playable Zero, a new store system, and pieces of Mega Man X3. You may have heard me say this already, but even if you know the originals like the back of your hand, Xtreme 1 and 2 are still worth a look. That all adds up to 6 great Mega Man adventures coming to your 3DS Virtual Console, all in May 2014. So be sure to check out the eShop each Thursday to see which classic game joined the roster.